All right, everybody, how's it going? It is February 7th, 2019, and this is our second video in our AAF, or Alliance of American Football coverage. And this is going to be covering the coaches, rosters, and team names of the various, 8 teams that are going to be in the league this year. That starts on February 9th, 2019, which is this Saturday. We'll have the inaugural game. And now it's time. We did the brief history, some rules, the basics of the league. And today we're doing a little bit more of the fun stuff, going over the teams, the coaches, where they play, what the uniforms look like. And then we'll end it by going over the rosters and kind of looking if there's any notable players, anybody worth mentioning. And then you can kind of go look for yourself for specifics. I'm just going to name key players and we'll go on. You'll see how we do it. But we'll start with this. We have the coaches, rosters, and team names in the AAF. First, we have the Arizona Hotshots. They will be playing in Tempe, Arizona. Of course, the team name is the Hotshots. The head coach will be Rick Neuheisel. Some of you may know who that is. I'm not too sure. I forgot to look up specifically who he was, but that's all right. They're going to be playing at Sun Devil Stadium, which houses 57,078 people. Pretty good, pretty good attendance figures will be there, I assume. This is going to be their helmets. They're going to be using looks like yellow, red, and gold scheme, which is sort of ugly. I don't really like it at all, especially when they roll out these ugly fucking jerseys that they've got. You can see here they're going to be going with the gold main color with the green pants and gold socks with red striping. Um, in theory, this would have been cool. I think if they'd have maybe done the reverse, or I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Arizona Hotshots uniforms. Very unprofessional looking the way that they organize this one. That's sort of the overrunning theme I think of these jerseys and these color schemes is it's very unprofessional, very obviously minor league type stuff. So we'll see though. This is the Arizona Hotshots. We'll be going over their roster after the PowerPoint. So again, they'll be in Arizona, Tempe. Rick Neuheisel is going to be the coach. They're at Sun Devil Stadium. So all right, let's go ahead and move on to the Salt Lake Stallions, which will be obviously be in Salt Lake City, Utah. The team name will obviously be the Stallions. Their coach is going to be Dennis Erickson, who's been a coach in the NFL, I believe, for the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Um, so good choice for that. You want to get some guys who have NFL experience. They're going to be playing at Rice Acelas Stadium. I really can't speak Spanish, so I don't know if that's like a Spanish hyphenation. And that houses 45,807 people. This is going to be what their uniforms look like. I actually really like these uniforms. The helmets leave a little bit to be like desired, as they kind of have this, the wing, the face mask is bright blue, and then it wings off to the set for stripes on the helmet. I kind of get the idea. It's all right. And then this is the way they decided to roll the jerseys out. I like the gray. I'm a big fan of the color rush of gray. As you know, if you've ever followed my channel, I'm a fan of the Lions color rush. So I like the fact that they use the gray and the blue for the numbers, but I think the pants should have remained gray. And then these would have been the best ones. I still think these are the best uniforms, just because I particularly like the color scheme. I don't think they should have used that second shading of blue, though. You can see it kind of on the pants here. I think they should have stayed with and right around here on the collar, on the shoulder pads, it looks like. They should have just stayed the light blue, and the numbers too have that same problem. They should have stayed all light blue, but it's a semi-professional league basically, so these aren't too bad. San Antonio Commanders. This game they are going to be playing in, of course, San Antonio, Texas. The team name is the Commanders. They are going to be coached by Mike Riley, who I have no idea who that is either. They're going to be playing at the Alamo Dome, former home of the Houston Oilers, which seats 64,000 people. Uniform and colors are butt ugly, maroon and red. I don't know why they decided to go with red and then let's go with more red and add maroon and white and a little bit of gray. So that's what we have here. These, again, much like the first and the second ones, they're not going to be the best looking jerseys, the best color schemes. For whatever reason, amateur professional sports teams typically don't do the best in picking uniform colors and jerseys, and like they don't even look as good as college jerseys, some of them. So I kind of like the logo on the helmet that they have. The back of them have the San Antonio, the SA with the little Capitol building. I don't really like that. I think that's the Alamo building. And they also have the a goofy sword. I like the sword with the badge on the helmet and the numbers. Those are, I guess their helmets are pretty cool, minus the coloring. I guess maroon and silver would have been if they would have went. Look at the way the pants are set up. They have the maroon and the gray. I think that's what they should have went with, the dark maroon and the maroon jersey, maroon helmet. That would have looked very cool, I think. And then the gray for the rest of the detail, no white. That would have looked really cool. But now we have the San Diego Fleet, which will be in which will obviously be in San Diego. This is I believe the Western Conference first, and then we're going to do the Eastern Conference. So these four teams, this is the fourth one that we're going over, are in the West, and then we'll be going over the Eastern Conference. I'm sorry I forgot to say that before, but let's get back to the San Diego Fleet, which will play in San Diego, California. So San Diego's got a football team again. Congratulations. They have the team name is going to be the Fleet. The coach is, of course, everybody knows who Mike Martz is. If you're a fan of the NFL in the mid 2000s, he was all over it. He's a pretty good offensive mind in football. He's very innovative, but he kind of fell behind the current game of the NFL, and now he's going to be coaching in the AAF with the San Diego Fleet. They're going to be playing at SDCCU Stadium, which houses 70,561 people. I believe that's the same stadium that San Diego State plays at. It's the San Diego Credit Union. I don't know what the other C is, but whatever. But again, that's a pretty healthy. It might be the second or third biggest of these AAF stadiums. I think the biggest is in Birmingham, but we'll see when we get there. These is I really dig the color scheme that they chose, the black and gold. Of course, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers color with a little bit of white in there. I've always been a fan of the black and gold. I think black in football really works. You can pair it with just about any other color, and gold works. And then they do this. I have no idea what the fuck these are. They're horribly ugly. They went with the trim of gold trim, so that's weird looking with the socks. Probably should have just left those as black. I don't think their jerseys are going to be black. They look more navy blue. Yeah, they should be wearing black pants, black socks, black, and then gold trim on the helmet, and then like gold trim around the neck like they have. I don't know. I just don't like these. They have a cool helmet, and then the rest just falls by the wayside. It's just ugh. Look at this. I wanted to like them because I like San Diego, but those are bad. Now we're going to start with the Eastern Conference teams, which is going to start with the Atlanta Legends. In Atlanta, Georgia is where they're going to play. The team name is going to obviously be the Legends. The coach is Kevin Coyle. Again, another guy. I didn't look up the coaches. I'm assuming if you want to root for one of these teams, you can go ahead and look up who these guys are. I'm just telling you who they are and like who the coaches are, not what they've done. Georgia State Stadium is where they're going to be playing games at for the Legends, which houses, I think this is the smallest stadium at 24,333 people. I think Georgia State plays there, and yeah, it's tiny little stadium. You think they would have gone to like the Georgia Dome, but I don't know if that's still standing. So I don't know, just not very many people to watch the Legends play. All right. These are the worst of the worst, in my opinion. Actually, no, these aren't that bad. They kind of got like an off gold and purple. I don't like purple when it's mixed with bad colors. Like this looks really bad, and you can see down the side. I think it says ATL on down either sides of like their jersey right here. It's just too much. Like they got crowns on them and shit. Like I like the purple. It's a cool color purple, but they should have paired it better with maybe a brighter gold, or because I get purple and gold are royal, but not faded gold. That looks off. I guess they're not as bad as I thought. There's a lot of gaudy details that are stupid, like the ATL here, the ATL there, the crown helmet on the crown on the side of the helmet. Not a big fan of that anyway. We're going to go ahead and move on to the Birmingham Iron, which is Birmingham, Alabama. So this is going to be probably one of the better teams in the league, in my opinion. I just have a feeling this might be the best team in the league. I don't know. We'll see as the season goes. As we get into the season, their team name is the Iron. So, because of the iron industry down in Birmingham, it's kind of a cool thing. The coach is Tim Lewis, again, another guy I've never heard of. They're going to be playing at Legion Field that has 71,594 people. I believe Legion Field sometimes hosts the Iron Bowl between Alabama and Auburn. So that's pretty cool. The uniforms and colors, they're going with the simplest of the simple, black and gray, baby. And I really, really like these jerseys. They're probably my favorite outside of the gray and blue, but these look the best, in my opinion. They're not going with any logos on the helmets, so they're the Cleveland Browns. They're copying the Browns with that. But it kind of gives you, we're here to play football. These are our jerseys. These are our uniforms. We're all black with gray numbers and gray trim. I like that. These look nice. They feel nice. They feel like more complete. They kind of give a college or high school feel to them. But again, I kind of like the simplicity of it, and it fits with the Alabama. Like, look at what Alabama Crimson Tide wear. They wear maroon jerseys. It's pretty cool. I like this. These are fine. No complaints from me. Oh boy, wait till you see the Memphis Express jerseys. If you're gonna have a good chuckle at these jerseys, I guarantee that. But let's go ahead and get on to. Did I cover all the pertinent information? Yeah, I did. Okay. This game, they are going to be the Memphis Express. I think that's a nod. The team name is a nod to FedEx, or like Federal Express, which is, I believe, based in Memphis, Tennessee, which is where the team is at. The coach team name is obviously the Express. The coach is Mike Singletary. You might remember him from the 49ers, of him being a hard ass, one of those hard-nosed coaches, tough guy. And here he is now coaching in the AAF for the Memphis Express. They're going to be playing at the Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. So I believe that is where the Liberty Bowl is held. And it houses 58,325 people. The uniforms and colors look as follows. Here's the helmets. Now, you can only think like, wow, those actually aren't that bad. Why is he over-exaggerating how bad these uniforms look when they got a plane on the side of their helmets and red, white, and blue striping? Boy, those don't look cheesy at all. Wait till you see this. Look at these jerseys, dude. They got blue main part, red trim, red pants, blue Under Armour, and blue socks. How fucking clashy and stupid does this look? And it looks like up the sides of these jerseys, it's all striped, too. So it's and like the pants have blue trim down the side, so it kind of clashes with the fact that they got red trim up the side of the jerseys. Like, think about that. This is what they're doing. They have blue, like blue regulars here, like the blue, blue, which is fine. I like the blue. That's a good blue color. And I like the white trim for the letters. But look at this. There's a blue strip on the pants. You can clearly see it there, right? And then it turns on the jersey to a red stripe. That's fucking stupid. These should be just blue pants. Dude, these are just just the word. They should. Look at these fucking ugly things, dude. It's like, are they trying to copy the Patriots, like horrible uniforms, like history, or like how do you have different color trim on your pants than you do on the actual jersey? I don't quite understand that, but that's all right. And the ugliness, dude. It's just it clashes all over. Red, white, and blue doesn't look good when it's clashed like that. But now we're on to our final team, which is going to be the Orlando Apollos, which I believe, ironically, was like the first team announced. So you probably know a little bit more about the Apollos already if you've been following this at all. Obviously, they're going to be playing in Orlando, Florida. The team name is the Apollos. The coach is Steve Spurrier, famous Steve Spurrier from Florida, I believe. Just where all those play. He's a famous college coach, and he coached for a very, very long time and was very successful. Kind of, I think. I don't really know. I don't really follow college football. I just know he was a very good college coach. They're going to be playing at the home of the UCF Knights, which is Spectrum Stadium, which houses a cool 44,206 people. So they're playing at the same place as the Knights, the Golden Knights. America's little favorite team, the real national champions, by the way. All right, so you'd think, wow, these are actually pretty sweet helmets, and they are. They got the symbols here of dual archers, which is pretty cool. I like that. Which is they got Apollo. Here's one of them. Here's the other one on either side. So from the front, you just see that. From the back, you see Apollo like mirror imaged. Very cool. I like the blue. I like this navy blue and this dark orange, kind of like orangish, like fire orange. I don't know. I just like it. And then this is the fucking jerseys. It doesn't match. Number one, the helmets don't match. That's light blue. And all of a sudden, we have these dark blue, like these charcoal blue, charcoal gray even helmets, and we're getting a blue uniform. Like, so the helmets are gonna clash immediately, and these are ugly fucking jerseys. I'm glad they're not wearing orange or Chicago Bears blue, which is basically what they could be wearing. But oof, Starter really did not do a good job making these fucking jerseys. But um, I didn't really spend a lot of time on that one, so I'll kind of leave that up like that. So there's that for you. You can kind of look at it. His pants kind of just blend into the background. You see legs jut out of nowhere. It looks like the striping's even horrible with the blue that turns into orange. So these are very ugly jerseys, by the way. There's that. There's that. These are the best looking ones. Um, these had a promising color scheme. I like these a bit, but anyway, really quickly. So that means we have the Arizona in the Western Conference. We have the Arizona Hotshots, Salt Lake Stallions, San Antonio Commanders, San Diego Fleet. And then in the Eastern Conference, we have the Atlanta Legends, Birmingham Iron, Memphis Express, and Orlando Apollos. Now, that is the end of the teams, coaches, like locations, and all that fun stuff and uniforms. Now we're going to go over some of the rosters, and we'll start with the Arizona Hotshots roster. The way we're going to do this, I'm going to leave kind of like just like it here so you can kind of see what's going on and make sure that you can kind of get an idea of, what you can see on the thing. So you can kind of see. I'm just gonna name off guys who I know that are kind of decent named. I assume Trevor Knight, the quarterback for the Arizona Hotshots roster. Trevor Knight, quarterback. He went to Texas A&M. You might slightly remember him. I remember him at least. And then we see no real names. Tim Cook's a very familiar running back name. And then you kind of look down, you can see the receivers here, no real big names. Tight ends, no one really stands out. Bryce Williams, for some reason, kind of does. Um, you got two offensive linemen or two centers and three guards and three tackles. No one really again stands out, and that's going to be a common thing. Will Sutton, defensive tackle for Arizona, the Arizona Hotshots is on here. He has a familiar name at least. Raheem Moore, a defensive back out of UCLA, very familiar name. Sterling Moore, defensive back out of Southern Methodist. I think I've seen those names in the NFL. Raheem Moore and Sterling Moore will be on the defense for this team. And I believe that's about it for notable names on this league. They have Nick Folk, Jeff Locke. Their kicker is Nick Folk and their punter is Jeff Locke. Two, guys who've definitely been in the NFL. Their long snapper is Nicholas Dooley. I don't think anyone from this team will wind up back in the NFL. But, Nick Folk and Jeff Locke, they're probably just trying to continue their kicking careers, make a few extra bucks, and move on. All right, so there's the Hot Shots roster. We'll go ahead and close that off. You can find this at aaf.com, aaf.com, and then click on the team and then the rosters if you want an extended look at what these, are made of. Again, not very many notables on the Hotshots roster. So that is it for the Arizona Hotshots. We're going to go ahead and try to stay within the Western Conference first. So we're going to go to the Salt Lake Stallions roster now. They don't really have any. They have Matt Linehan at quarterback, which is the son of Scott Linehan, a very innovative offensive mind, former offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. They also have Matt Asiata at running back. He played for the Chicago Bears most recently, I believe, just never really worked out. And then we can go down the list and see if there's any bigger names that kind of pop out to you, or you can kind of see like, oh, I know who that is. And then, you see where he went to. You see where they ended up. A lot of the it's a lot of Utah-based colleges because of the way the draft works. Austin Traylor, a tight end from Wisconsin, is playing for the Stallions, so that's a bit of an interesting pickup. I don't really know offensive linemen, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip past them. And then you can just kind of look at the defense, a bunch of guys who really you don't really know who they are. I don't know any of the guys so far on this defense. Like I said, later on, if you want, you can go back and look through. The kicker is Taylor Bertolet, never heard of him, and Austin Reckhow for punting. So I don't know. I think the kickers and punters are going to have the best shot at getting NFL contracts out of this. And I also am curious to how Matt Linehan will do. He went to Idaho and went to a small school, so this could be a really good shot for him, especially if he has the same kind of brain his dad has. Then we're going to look at the San Antonio Commanders, another team in the Western Conference. I don't know a single person they have at quarterback. They have Logan Woodside, Dustin Vaughn, and Marquise Williams. Never heard of any of them. The running backs, Trey Williams from Texas A&M, sounds familiar. The rest of them I don't know. This is a very thin team. They don't have shit going on here. Holy crap! The San Antonio roster is deprived of any like big names so far. Yeah, that's just. I have not yet seen a name that stands out or is like familiar to me. Let's see if their defense has something like what? Why didn't they draft any players like other teams have a couple of good players. Nick Orr, a defensive back out of Texas Christian. I think he played in the NFL. The name sounds familiar anyway. Yeah, that's about that. What, they spend it all on kicking? No, they didn't. At punter, they have Joseph Zema and Nick Rose at kicker. So he went to Texas, Nick Rose did. So they got a decent kicker, it sounds like. Let's go to San Diego Fleet. The San Diego Fleet's roster with their weird jerseys. They have Mike Berkovici at quarterback, Philip Nelson, and Alex Ross. Never heard of a single one. Let's see. They got any running backs? No. Never heard of any of them. Let's see. They got a bunch of wide receivers, and I don't think any of them are. Cameron Kelly sounds like a familiar name. That's from San Diego State. Let's see, tight ends. They don't have Marcus Baugh sounds familiar. Yeah, Marcus Baugh, a tight end from Ohio State. Very familiar name anyway. Just because my team's played against Ohio State quite often. The one college team I root for. Yeah, no one really familiar. I guarantee I won't really know anyone on this defense, but we'll see. I barely know defensive players in the NFL, so me not knowing guys who didn't make it in the NFL should come as no surprise, because I don't know any of these people. That's all right though. Let's see. At punter, they have Donnie Hagman and Ryan Winslow. The team does not have an actual kicker. They have two punters in Donnie Hagman and Ryan Winslow. So that is the end of the Western Conference roster. You know, notable players, I guess you could call it. We're going to go ahead and move on to the Atlanta Legends and look at what they have as a team and see if they have anything that might stand out to you. They have quarterback Peter Pujols, Aaron Murray from Georgia. I remember Aaron Murray is a pretty good quarterback, and I think he just kind of fell by the wayside and just never really worked in the NFL. He's from Georgia, of course. And then Matt Sims. Matt Sims is on the Atlanta Legends roster. So that's interesting. They have two pretty good quarterbacks, whereas San Antonio didn't have any. Murray and Sims. Interesting to see who's going to start. They also have Denard Robinson, old shoeless Denard. Is playing for the Atlanta Legends from Michigan. That's Denard Robinson. And then you can kind of look at the rest of the team. It's pretty thinned out. They seem to have gone pretty star heavy at two positions. Malachi Jones from Appalachian State, I believe he was very involved in that team that beat Michigan. That Appalachian State team. I might be wrong, but I remember the name Malachi Jones in Appalachian State being very prominent, or at least notable. Let's see if there's anybody else. I doubt it. Again, I'm going to look at the defense. I don't think I'm going to see any. Brandon Watts, linebacker from Georgia Tech. That's a very familiar name. T.J. Barnes, defensive tackle from Georgia Tech. I don't know why these Georgia Tech guys are standing out so hard. Tavares Barnes, defensive end from Clemson. They actually have quite a few guys whose names are sticking out in my head, or just standing out to me anyway. Desmond Lawrence, for whatever reason, does. from North Carolina. And that's the end of that. For their kickers, they have Young Ho Koo. That's Young Ho Koo for kicker. And punter, they have Cameron Nizialik. I can't say his name, and I'm not going to try it. So that's the end of the Atlanta Legends roster. Let's go over the Birmingham Iron roster, the team from Alabama. Blake Sims from Alabama, Keith Price from Washington, and Luis Perez from Texas A&M Commerce. Running back, they have notable Trent Richardson. Yep, the Trent Richardson from Alabama will be playing for the Birmingham Iron. Pretty funny. Looking at some of the other players, I don't really know anyone notable right away. Just kind of a bunch of guys I've never heard of. I don't really know offensive linemen, and I doubt I'm going to know any of these defensive players. There's a guy named Lawrence Okai who's never played college. He's a 6'6" defensive tackle that weighs 310 pounds. He's probably going to be playing in the NFL. Who the hell is this? Oh, he's a British track and field athlete and American football defensive tackle. So he's a new guy. Okay. That's pretty cool. He's a track star turned football player from England. So that's something interesting to watch going forward. Xavier Dixon, a linebacker from Alabama. Yeah, I don't really know any of these other people. So let's see. They have Nick Novak at kicker, a guy who's played in the NFL. That's Nick Novak, and Colton Schmidt punting the ball. That's the Birmingham Irons notable players. I guess the Memphis Express have two notable quarterbacks in Zach Mettenberger, who played at LSU. So that's pretty notable. Zach Mettenberger and Christian Hackenberg, who played at Penn State. Running backs, they have Rajon Neal, who played at Tennessee, I guess, and Terrence McGee, who played at LSU as well. I'm looking for. There's a guy named Alton Pig Howard who played for Tennessee. That's obviously a notable nickname, so I choose to include him. Don't really know the rest of the guys on offense, and I doubt any kind of thing happens where I know the defensive players. So, and that's exactly what happened. I don't know who the hell any of them are. And at punter, they have Brad Wing. At punter, they also have Josh Jasper, and Ryan Navarro is the long snapper. I've heard Ryan Navarro, but Josh Jasper and Brad Wing are the dual punters for the team. That's the second team with no actual kicker. Elliott Fry. Oh, okay, I'm on the Orlando Apollo. Yeah, none of these quarterbacks I've ever heard of. Austin Appleby went to Florida. That's the best one they got, I think. Running backs. Akeem Hunt went to Purdue, very familiar name. Chris Thompson also went to Florida, and Jalen Marshall went to Ohio State, so they should be decent players, just based off where they went anyway. Let's see, tight ends. No one really stands out. Scott Orendorff. I think he was just in the NFL, Scott Orendorff. What team has Josh Johnson at quarterback? I don't remember seeing him anywhere, but that's all right. He might not have ended up playing for the league, I guess. I don't know. And then I really don't know any offensive linemen. That doesn't change. And then we're going to look at these defensemen. And you can look for yourself. And they have, for kickers, they have Elliott Fry and Ben Turk. So the kicker is Elliott Fry. The punter is Ben Turk. Will Hill the third actually plays safety for them. So that's actually a pretty familiar name, Will Hill. I believe he played for the Saints. Yeah, he played for the Baltimore Ravens and Giants. So I remember him. Yeah, he's been in the NFL recently. And I don't really remember the rest of the people. So that is all the rosters. That is the teams. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a longer video, but we went over the teams, locations, coaches, where they're going to play, where the stadiums, and then we went over each of the teams' main notable players on the rosters. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video and know a little bit more about the AAF. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the schedule for the season for each team, and then I'm going to make my picks for the week 1 of the inaugural season coming up on Saturday. Please like this video if you enjoyed what you've seen here today. Leave a comment of what you think of the jerseys, what you think of the teams, what you think of, so far what you've seen in the AAF. Like, oh boy, this is going to be a shit show, or oh, this could be pretty fun based on what you've heard in name talent. I'm sort of leaning the other way. This might be a shit show, but we'll see when we get there. Just leave a comment. I'll get back to you. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here and wish to see more about the AAF or just sports in general. We're about to hit baseball season, so I'll be pretty busy with that. Thank you so much for listening to this DRTV presentation. I am Rob, and have a good one. Peace.